Francesco oggi è presidente della cooperativa Terra Mia. Appena 5 soci, tutti attorno ai 50 anni, che trasformano l'oliva nocellara e altri prodotti tipici della vallata del Belice in specialità gastronomiche di eccellenza. Non gli è mancato il coraggio 2 anni fa nel trasformarsi in imprenditori, quando hanno perso il lavoro, come centinaia di altri, in seguito al sequestro per mafia e al fallimento delle aziende di Giuseppe Gricoli, condannato come prestanome del boss latitante di Cosa Nostra, Matteo Messina Denaro.
I think that corruption, favoritism and organized crime has become one of the major obstacles of economic and social development in Europe. And when we talk about cohesion policy and European funds, we cannot avoid to speak about high level and sometimes in some member states systemic corruption, which is there all around with the misuse of EU funds. And the European Parliament has a lot of things to do with that. First of all, we have, for example, in the Budgetary Control Committee, we have the role to scrutiny, to overview the yearly budget of the European institutions, including the Commission and some specialized bodies of the European Union. And we have to call on better, more effective and stricter anti-corruption measures on the European level to better control the spending of EU funds, to prevent that EU funds enrich organized crime groups or corrupt politicians and oligarchs around governments or parties, which is the case in a great number of member states. We cannot regard corruption anymore as a kind of nasty or dirty byproduct of well-functioning policies like the cohesion policy, but corruption, misuse of funds, organized crime, links between political elites, as we have the evidences in Slovakia, that the Italian mafia had very close links to the highest level of the government. Also, we see that in Hungary, for example, the misuse of EU funds is driven by the state itself. So that corruption, misuse of EU funds is not just a byproduct, that sometimes it's becoming the core part of the use of EU funds. And this also must suggest that we have to completely redraft the way we spend the public money of the European taxpayers in different European policy areas like cohesion policy, agricultural payments, and so on and so forth. We need much more effective control mechanisms to prevent those misuses, that corruption. And also we have to put a strong pressure on the member states, as we see that sometimes the problem that the states, the governments themselves are not interested in fighting against corruption in an effective way.